Good evening. I'm Haley Ficasello. Tonight we are highlighting notable federal crime cases for February of 2026 in the District of South Dakota, involving serious offenses including sex offender registration violation, large-scale methamphetamine trafficking, violent assault on federal officers, child exploitation crimes, and a federal jury conviction for murder and arson. The U.S. Attorney Ron Parsons announced that the Sussex Falls man has been sentenced to federal prison for failing to register as a sex offender. According to federal prosecutors, Kyle Allen Felicia, 43, was sentenced on January 26 of 2026 by U.S. District Judge Karen E. Shiner to 2 years and 6 months in federal prison, followed by a 5-year of supervised release. He was also ordered to pay a $100 special assessment to Federal Crime Victim Fund. Felicia was indicted by the federal jury in November of 2025 and pled guilty on December 22nd of 2025. Court records show Felicia was previously convicted of federal sex offense and was legally required to register and keep his registration current. Prosecutors say that from mid-August through November of 2025, Felicia knowingly failed to do so. The case was investigated by the U.S. Marshal Service and prosecuted by the Supervisory Assistant U.S. Attorney Connie Larson. Felicia was remanded into federal custody. A Fort Thompson man has been sentenced to more than 11 years in federal prison for his role in a methamphetamine trafficking conspiracy. Federal officials say Dylan Big Eagle, 35, was sentenced on February 2nd, 2026 by the U.S. District Judge Eric C. Shuttle to 11 years and 8 months in federal prison, followed by a 5 years of supervised release. He was also ordered to pay a $1,000 fine and a $100 special assessment. Big Eagle pled guilty to conspiracy to distribute controlled substance. Prosecutors say the conspiracy operated from January through December of 2023 and involved the distribution of more than 500 grams of methamphetamine in central South Dakota, including within Crow Creek and Lower Brule Sussex Indian Reservation. A California man has been sentenced to 15 years in federal prison for the attempted production of child pornography. Chief U.S. District Judge Roberto A. Lang sentenced Juan Pedro Gobella, 34, of Thermal, California, on February 9th of 2026 to 15 years in federal prison, followed by a 5 years of supervised release and a $100 special assessment. Upon release, Goba must register as a sex offender. Federal authorities say the case stemmed from a March 2024 undercover operation in which Goba used the Reddit username Save Or Taste to attempt to persuade someone he believed to be a 15-year-old girl to send sexually explicit images. The individual was an undercover law enforcement officer. A Sussex Falls man has been sentenced for assaulting a federal officer. James Halloway, 46, was sentenced on February 3rd of 2026 by Judge Eric C. Shuttle to 2 years and 9 months in federal prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release and a $100 special assessment. The charges stem from May 2nd, 2025 incident on Lower Blue Indian Reservation. Prosecutors say Halloway physically struggled with an officer from the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Office of Justice Service, knocking the officer to the ground and injuring the officer's arm. A Pine Ridge man has been sentenced to more than 19 years in federal prison for drug trafficking and firearm offense. Federal officials report James Shagarox, 43, was sentenced on January 27th of 2026 by U.S. District Judge Kamala C. Theodore to 19 years and 7 months in federal prison, followed by 5 years of supervised release. The court also ordered $200 in special assessments and forfeiture of a firearm. Prosecutors say Shagarox acted as an organizer and leader in a methamphetamine distribution conspiracy involving at least 350 grams of methamphetamine in Rapid City and within Pine Ridge Reservation. A federal jury has convicted a Mansard man on murder and arson charges. United States Attorney Ron Parsons announced that Reno Radu, 52, was found guilty on February 5th of 2026 following a 3-day federal jury trial in Rapid City. Radu was convicted of first-degree felon murder, arson, assault with intent to commit arson, and assault resulting in serious bodily injury. The conviction carries a mandatory sentence of life in prison. The charges stem from an October 2024 fire near Manson's that destroyed a residence and resulted in the death of Tanya White Butterfly, a former corrections officer within the Oglala Sussex tribe. John Rondeau Sr. escaped the fire but suffered burn injuries while attempting to rescue her. That concludes this federal crime report highlighting February 2026 cases. I'm Haley Ficasello. Stay with Englebrook Independent News. Good night.